And that, people, is right. You sit there and you check out that description. Once again, check out that description. Get this shared. Get your comments in. I'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe and get me to the next milestone of 330. I'm so just 5 away. So hit like and subscribe. Once again, check out that description because I am the golden one. Making the money every single day. I am Ricky. Oh, man. This right here is a channel, part of your daily routine. The channel that you have meetings about to discuss. It is the People's Wrestling channel. Once again, hit like and subscribe. Get your comments in and get this shared. Because it's going to be about the best in the world himself, CM Punk, about his big return at Survivor Series. Lots to get through, lots to discuss. But first, I have a guest. Not sure let it bring you in or not, but if it does, it does. Can you bring yourself in or not? I'm guessing no, but my guest is the Irish Ace himself. Not been on for a while, but here he is. It is all the way from Ireland. Still the reigning, defending quiz champion. I think he's wanting to go on a Roman Reigns type run, but he is the man they call Ian. So how are you?
Hey, all good, all good. It's been...
I know you were wanting to go on a Roman Reigns type run with a quiz championship.
Could have... First time I've come on the show and you've not played Roman's theme song.
You cut out there your Wi-Fi, your McDonald's type Wi-Fi, your dial-up Wi-Fi. So what was that about?
What's going on?
Oh, it improved slightly there. You said something about Reigns' theme. Okay, I'm moving along. So that was like lots to discuss. I've got, made a few notes here. So plenty to discuss. So, first of all, let's not get into the backstage stuff. We're going to get into that and what this means and all the beef and drama, etc., etc. So just first of all, take a couple of minutes or so to your initial thoughts of Punk's big return at Survivor Series, and were you shocked?
It would happen. I thought it wouldn't happen. I thought because they wouldn't want to overshadow Randy Orton's return, but like they heard the fact they had to pull have to take the...
Your Wi-Fi, unfortunately, you cut out there. They had to take the chance, I think you said. We're going to get into Orton being overshadowed soon here. Do you want to try again? Do you want to give your thoughts again?
I think he's coming back. I thought might help.
Right, oh
Hello?
Dear. Hello? You've got oh.
No, I'm still here.
Okay,
I just turned the camera off.
Oh, that's better. Go and speak again.
That might help a bit because I've done that before.
Yeah, I think that's helped.
I enjoyed his return now.
That's okay. That's helped. So that's fine. You don't need to be on screen necessarily, just as long as we can hear you. I think it was a great return. I didn't think he was the fifth man. I didn't think Orton was going to be there. And when he wasn't, I thought, okay, he's probably going to be at the Rumble, maybe. I did say he was going to return. Punk was going to return. I'd be more shocked if he didn't. But I think thinking about it, yeah, I think it was a total shock, definite surprise. Yeah, and I think apparently it wasn't going to happen. Apparently they had Triple H and Punk had a conversation last Monday, so it's kind of a real last minute thing. They had a competition for an hour. So that's why it didn't get spoilt. Which we're going to get into. Yeah, I would love to know how Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer and all these other reporters have their, how they know these things. They've been doing it for years. I know Dave Meltzer for, is it 30 years now? He's been a reporter. Do you know Ian?
Yes, I know who Dave Meltzer is.
No. How long has he been a reporter? Is it 30 years now?
Yeah, that is a good question. I say he has his sources inside WWE.
No, how long has Meltzer been a reporter? Has he been doing this for like 30 years, would you say?
I'd say possibly 30 years.
Okay, so he's been around for 30 years. He's well, some respect him, some people just think he's awful and take him with a pinch of salt. But and it's very much, well, this might happen, and if it doesn't, it's for these reasons. So okay. But Sean Ross Sapp does seem to be 90%, like 9 times out of 10, correct with what he says. Like I said, I'd love to know who the sources are. But I think this was apart from a select few, so I'll say Punk himself, Triple H, Nick Khan. Apparently, the guys in the War Games match did all know. But they kept it as a legit secret. The last time this was a legit secret in wrestling, what you could say maybe the Rock when he returned a couple of months ago. No one expecting him to turn up, but so the Rock's bigger and biggest movie star in the world and all that. But to keep this as a secret, just I think added to it. What do you think, Ian?
It worked, yeah. They kept it very well hidden. Like, it wasn't just the journalists they kept it secret from. They kept it hidden from Endeavor, from people like Vince. They kept it secret from Vince McMahon as well. He didn't know anything about this as well. Or Air Emanuel probably didn't know anything about this as well. Like, it was a well-planned secret. And that's what's always been missing in wrestling these days, is keeping things secret, keeping things under wrap. Like, the last time I recall a big secret that was kept from WWE was when Ronda Rousey debuted in 2018. Or maybe when Reigns returned in 2020.
Would you not say The Rock a couple of months ago?
Oh, The Rock as well. Yeah, you could count The Rock. Or the first time The Rock came. Remember The Rock came back in 2011? No one saw that coming as well. I didn't think that was going to
I think people were saying that The Rock's going to probably host Mania. It was a shock. Like, The Rock came back after seven years, but I think people expected it.
Yeah, but they pulled it off well, and that's always the thing that's missing in wrestling today because of the disadvantage of social media and the internet, is that nothing is kept a secret, and surprise they're ruined.
Everything is spoiled. Everything. People are out there. We're trying to get into kind of my next thought here, but yeah, everybody wants the clicks. Everybody wants that social media. I like sticking on social media. Want things to go viral and. Yeah, and we're going to come in here that might be from Justin. I think, oh yeah, no, Jesus Christ, Zajwik. What?
Zajwik.
Okay, there we go. You could see
Zajawik.
Right, you could see shorts of the Polish wrestling group Mind City Wrestling. What? Okay, I don't watch anything other than American. No, I watch British wrestling. I go to watch British wrestling. I go to indie shows 4, 5, 6 a month. But apart from the only international wrestling I watch is WWE and I suppose AEW pay-per-views. But Polish wrestling can't help you. Sorry, I don't even know any Polish wrestlers. Do you, Ian?
I do not know any Polish wrestlers.
Done any that was in WWE? There was Ivan Koloff. Was he Polish?
Ivan Kozlov?
I don't know. Kozlov, no, he was
Russian. Or no.
Russian. I think Ivan Koloff, the Polish powerhouse.
Volkov is Russian.
Who? Yeah, him.
I think that's him, yes.
That's what I'm on about. I've heard of the name. That's it. Anyway, so yeah, I can't help you with Polish wrestling. So So yeah, I'll get to my kind of that sidetracked me there, but yeah, thank you for the comment, Zidgwick. I'll get to my next start after these messages. And Ian, your Wi-Fi was a lot better with it just being voice. That's a lot better. So anyway, yeah, after these messages, we'll get to more thoughts. So that's right, running across the screen on ticker. On video you just saw, on screen you see now all my socials and my follow me, so you never miss an upload, a live, and certainly when we and Ian go live next year for the Raining Rock podcast. So the big thing that people are talking about is how real is all this drama with three big names in WWE. I'll kind of go from smaller name to bigger name. So the first is Drew McIntyre. Apparently he was kicking off backstage. Now, a YouTuber I watch said, how real is this? You know, in the world of social media, in the world of 2023, everything is captured on camera. You know, a name like Drew McIntyre kicking off in WWE, someone's going to report it. So is it purely just that he's getting his name out there, or is this real? I don't see what issue Drew has with Punk, unless it's just he feels his spot now. He's probably going to not lose his spot, but he's now going to struggle for it now. Punk is back. So what do you think? Do you think it's real with Drew, or it's just to get his name out there? What do you think, Ian?
I think it's a bit of both as well, because like he's obviously still staying in his heel character for his frustration with everything that's been going on with his character. But there's also the different reports that he has signed a new contract with WWE. There's another saying he hasn't, that his contract will expire after WrestleMania, and he doesn't want to resign because he's feeling homesick. So, yeah, like there are real. And with Punk back on the scene, like, and then we saw the whole stuff with Seth Rollins and
so the other big name is obviously Seth Rollins again. You know, Triple H and WWE have their finger on the pulse, and they know again everything's gonna be caught on camera. There's gonna be somebody there with a phone filming it. They're gonna stick it on social media. Like wildfire, and yeah. So is that the whole point? They did it. Rollins knew that Punk was coming out. Now, there's some saying that nobody but Triple H and Nick Khan knew. There's others saying that the guys in the War Games did know. So I'm going to go with them. They did know. So Rollins knew Punk was going to be there. So is it just purely just storyline to cause friction? Do you actually think there's a legitimate beef? Again, what do you think, Ian?
I'd say they all did know, and I'd say like they were start to build for what is more likely going to be Punk versus Rollins.
Oh, you cut out again.
Because they want to start getting the attention now for Punk versus Rollins at WrestleMania. Now, Punk and Raw is commercial free for the first hour, and they've promised a big start and a big end.
We'll get to Punk being on Raw in a second. And the other big name, probably the biggest name, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Apparently he was backstage and he was going to start a fight with Punk. Now Reigns is merely basing basing things last time Punk was there, and in January 10 years ago. Again, I would love to know these sources are who these insiders are, because apparently Triple H, Punk, and that was it within Gorilla. So who's leaking these things, or how real are these things that Sean Ross Sapp and Brian Alvarez and Uncle Dave and all the other social media things out there? How real is this? Who are the sources? But getting back to Reigns, do you think that Reigns was there, and do you think he did kick off, or again, that's what's made up?
Oh, I'd say some of that was made up. Does Reigns really need to threat? I mean, more likely Punk will be on Raw with the feud of Rollins, and Reigns will be on SmackDown. So Reigns is not losing his spot altogether.
Oh, no.
He's still the top head on SmackDown when you get back.
I think Punk will be on SmackDown. I think, when I say, we'll get into my thoughts about Punk. I think I'd have him on all 3 shows as much as possible. Use him as much as possible. I think.
No, you don't. You don't want to overexpose this. No, I don't think you want to overexpose Punk. I mean, like, you want to don't put everything on one person. That's the thing. Like, you don't want to do a thing where you put the shoulders of the company on one person, like what they've done with Roman. You want to have breathing space for everybody. Or you're just going to cause a problem. Like, Raw, like, you have Rollins, you focus on Cody until he goes to SmackDown. One person, you have to have a bit of breathing space for everyone else.
It won't shock me if Punk's on SmackDown this Friday, and they have him on. Well, we'll get into. Well, I think I'll have him on NXT as well, because why not? If John Cena and The Undertaker can be on NXT, so can CM Punk. So,
we'll have him have an appearance on each show. But I'd love to see him interact with guys like Roman or Edge or anybody else, Grayson Waller or Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Your Wi-Fi keeps cutting in and out.
I don't know what it is. I'm gonna
take your McDonald's Wi-Fi back and tell them no, thank you.
I think I will.
It improves and then it doesn't. So if this is all real and Reigns, Rollins, Drew, Rhea, it's a legitimate issue, a legitimate beef with Punk, is it just a case of they've got to put up with it because there's nowhere else and it's not AEW? If Reigns went to AEW, hell would freeze over. But if Reigns went to AEW, we'd just be all like the rest, like Daniel Bryan, like Edge, Sting, etc., so on and so on. He'd be the flavour of the month. He'd be the new toy for Tony Khan to play with. And after a month, it'd be like, because Edge debuted. It was like, Edge is back. Now it's, and who cares? So very quickly, Tony Khan has took one of the greatest of all time and Hall of Fame and turned him into, and who cares? So there's real no other option these guys have. So do you think it could be just a case of kind of deal with it and that's it?
I think that's what's going to happen. Triple H is aware there's going to be Tony Khan just backstage ego there and lost him.
Backstage ego and Triple H know there's going to be problems. I think I'll try to translate, because again, I'll take you out back in and see if that improves it. But so give me 1 second here. Don't know if that has improved it or not, but we'll just carry on anyway and prevail anyway. See, you can't argue that for CM Punk is definitely good for business. 87 million views across social media in a day. Raw's got better, but it could still Raw's improved, but it could still improve some more. So CM Punk is going to Raw could actually tonight get over 2 million in the ratings. if he goes to, he's on SmackDown, he can only, SmackDown get a good rating anyway, but they're going to go up. And NXT could be over 1 million, should he be on there. So he's definitely good for business. He's going to make a lot of money for the company. He's going to make a lot of money. So, yeah, your thoughts on that? Do you think he'll be good for ratings or not?
Yeah, he is. He's definitely a needle mover. He was for AEW when he came in, and they just didn't know what to do with him. Keep him on Raw. They already have the needle mover on, so they're sort there. More likely Mania season, and they'll need someone else if Rollins has to take time. NXT needs NXT, they'll be fine.
I can't see him being on there week in, week out, but do I kind of see him turning up? Deadline maybe.
I think
why not?
I think he'll be there week in, week out.
No, on NXT week in, week out. He's not going to be there. I think I can see him making a rare appearance, being at Deadline or something. Maybe he'll turn up there, or just maybe just a random NXT just to boost the ratings.
He'll be there. I think he could come into NXT. Have to go up against Dynamite.
That's if that Dynamite's on a Tuesday again.
You never know. But just to go back, Triple H is aware that he does have an ego, and he's learned, and he's seen in the past in WWE. There was Hogan and Warrior, or Hogan and Savage, or during Trips days with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. So he has to, learning from Vince, he'll be able to handle the two egos, compared to Khan, who just tried to play best friends, but just chose his own favorites over somebody who he knew could make a draw for him. Because if he had kept Punk and Cody, they could have probably taken AEW to a bigger stage, up with WWE.
No. You could get
Cody and Bryan.
AEW is always going to be that smaller second company. They're never going to be a WWE. It's never going to be, you say to any random person in the world, name me a wrestling company, they're going to go, oh yeah, AEW, unless they know what it is. It's always going to be WWE. So even though, unless you want somebody like The Rock, which is never going to go there anyway, I don't think things are going to change, unfortunately.
I don't think The Rock doesn't need AEW anyway. I think he's busy with Hollywood.
If you had The Rock there, the biggest movie star in the world, all of that, he would put AEW on the map. But yeah, you're right, he doesn't need it. And he can't afford him, and yeah.
If the Cans could afford Edge, they could find a way.
Rock gets 50 million a movie, so, and what's he going to do? He's not going to wrestle. He's going to turn up and go, if you smell for one Dynamite, what's the point of that?
Oh, yeah.
So discussing the AEW stuff. So see how much of the WWE audience even know what Punk did. Now, imagine it's quite a big. So there's a different array of audience of the WWE universe, the WWE audience. There's probably a portion that doesn't even know AEW exists, doesn't even know it's a thing. They live in the WWE bubble and that's it. There's the fans that, they know about AEW but couldn't tell you who's there. The fans that could tell you who's there. The fans that, like me, will watch the pay-per-views and, they'll keep up with it. We're not really too interested. And the fans that watch both. And then the fans that watch both and actually are interested in these backstage going on. So how many people actually watch the infamous media scrum? Probably not many. And how many people knew what Punk was talking about? Probably not many. So for the people, 200,000 that watched Full Gear, which is pathetic, they did less than they did for Collision. So for the 200,000 that watched Full Gear and the near 1 million that watches Dynamite, do you think that any of the WWE audience actually care what Punk did or even know what Punk did?
In WWE, you would have known what he did in AEW. Like the stuff he did with MJF in AEW was some of his. Could have had a long reign as champion had it.
Backstage stuff and talking about the fights he was in and the fights with Omega and the Young Bucks and Jack Perry and going after Tony Khan. Do you think the fans in WWE actually even know about that?
I'd say they do. I'd say himself when he appears tonight.
You cut out again there. Only a small portion are going to actually know or even care of any sort of opinion on what he did. And then the ones that do, some will be like, well, was it Omega's and the Young Bucks' fault, or was it Punk's fault? You've got others like, well, Triple H isn't bringing Punk back. Well, Punk knows that Triple H knows that Punk's got an ego and he knows what he's like to deal with because he's dealt with him before in the past. So why would Triple H bring in Punk if he's got this massive ego and he's so hard to deal with? You've got the fans saying, well, he's been nearly 10 years, start afresh. So how many people are actually even going to be caring what he did in AEW? I can't see that many people. What do you think?
I think, look, he obviously came back. Yeah, maybe he could start afresh, and maybe Triple H is going to try to handle, because at the time, Punk's main issue was really with Vince, because like he had won the longest title reigns, and Vince didn't put him in the main event scene for much. Like most of the main event was focused on John Cena until the later part of 2012, and then in the beginning of 2013, he was in the main event, the Royal Rumble, and he loses to The Rock, and he was the hottest property, and he was the top star after along with Cena at the time of that year. But he was losing to The Undertaker. He lost to 3-part. He was hoping, like, we're coming up to 10 years since WrestleMania 30. Vince wanted Batista and Randy Orton, and there was a change coming, and Vince didn't want to listen. Vince was too caught with stars, which caused the change in WrestleMania 30. And now we're coming up to the 10th anniversary of that moment. And years after that, he could actually...
You cut out a few times there, but I got the gist of it. I don't know if I'm watching did. Yeah, the infamous Rock Cena was the main event. Rock Cena was obviously the bigger match, two mega stars, The Rock, a huge name. So, of course, that was going to be the main event. Anybody thought that Punk should have gone on, well, that's not, Rock and Cena are a hell of a lot more well-known than Punk was and is. So, yeah, obviously that was going to be the main event, but Punk had a legitimate gripe saying, well, I should be in the main event and all of that. So, he's what's kind of possibly brought him back. As obviously the money is why he's back. But as they said, you can get a great ovation in your home state, town. Chicago's a town, I think. Chicago, Illinois. We'll get into this, but what I think, wins the Rumble, main event Mania, which he's never done, and beats the guy that said stuff about him in real life. Is that what's been promised? What do you think?
Or I've just seen all the reports. I think it could happen. I'm here.
You muted yourself.
I've seen many reports. No, I'm back.
His Wi-Fi is horrendous. Oh. Right, go on.
I've been reading probably possible it could main event night 1 of WrestleMania 40. More like night 2 is going to be Cody and Roman. That's a no-brainer there. He could win the Rumble. I was still going with Gunter to win the Rumble because of the European tour dates they're going to have after WrestleMania. But more likely now with Punk there. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Oh, this why your McDonald's, your dial-up McDonald's Wi-Fi. I'll play another video and hopefully that improves it. I think it improved it last time, so we'll try again. Improve the Wi-Fi. Yeah, go on, say, go on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, so that's improved.
I'm taking out the headphones.
Oh, okay, I'll play a video. Yeah, I improved it last time for a short little while, so hopefully improves it again. Let's see. Maybe the issue with your headphones, I don't know. But we'll play this and hopefully this improves it. So that is right. Christmas is not. We're on the 27th, so like 30 days away ish from Christmas. So get the most sought after, most asked for, the most wanted gift this Christmas. Protein Teas Goldman's. As you can see, all my socials on screen. So take a good look at them. So my podcast, Protein Teas Goldman's, Ricky Goldman's, WWA, Facebook, Linktree, and YouTube. Real quick, I'll play one other video. That seems to have improved it, I think, so we'll play one more. I don't know why the videos are helping the Wi-Fi, but they are, so we'll play one more. Oh.
I turned up the volume on my headphones. That might have helped a bit.
I think it has.
Yeah. So maybe skip the video. Let's get back to business.
Yeah, actually, that has improved it. Go on.
So go back to WrestleMania now.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but first, your boy LA Knight did say at a house show that he's not bothered about Punk or Orton, which we'll get to coming back, but more importantly, Punk, he's not bothered about him coming back. I think he should be. Nobody's talking about Punk, LA Knight. LA Knight's not getting 87 million across social media. So do you think somebody like LA Knight that is kind of really struggling for that spot that's not really made it? We main evented against Reigns. What do you think he should be bothered about his spot?
No, I think he's going to be. I think he takes his share of the money for the merch sales. He's going to get more likely to face. Look, he looks. Oh no, he shouldn't really be worrying. Like, just take now and just when things are right, it'll all come. But I would like to see Punk and LA Knight work. That would be quite. See how that would go down well. That'd be a battle of the promos.
Do you want to try going off camera again? Because I'd improved it before and it's now going fuzzy and blurry. And do you want to just
there we go now?
Go on.
I was just saying that I don't because he had a match with Roman. We don't know if he's going to get a rematch at the Rumble. He looks set to face Logan Paul at WrestleMania. So no.
I would do Reigns Ignite at the Rumble. No way. Apparently that's not happening. There's other plans. Now, is that Styles? I think that'd be a bigger match. You could do Orton. That's a bigger match. Regardless who it is. Reigns is just kind of waiting until Mania. So it could be Orton, Styles. It could be anybody. But
I think
either way is bigger than Knight.
I think if they with LA Knight, then go with AJ Styles because his contract is due to expire or retire.
Logan Paul, not be beating Logan Paul, would be a big moment. Logan Paul, again, is a legitimate star. People know who he is. But, okay, but who's talking about LA Knight now? Nobody. So I think he's got to be worried that everyone's now talking about Punk.
Well,
so
I think if you are getting worried about, that's the thing in the entertainment business. There's always going to come in and try and take your spot. But like, it won't. Like, he shouldn't worry. For one, Punk could more likely be signed to Raw. LA Knight will still be on SmackDown. Two, if you're going to start worrying about people taking your spot, do something about it to get you back talking.
Not taking his spot. Punk doesn't want LA Knight spot in the mid card. I'm saying, where's the focus? Where's the attention on Knight now? Zero.
He's still on SmackDown.
It's all on CM Punk. The attention is on CM Punk. And being on SmackDown and Raw, well, the brand split ended months ago. So, well, it didn't end months ago. It's still in effect. But Jesus Christ, every single week you have got somebody on Raw, and from vice versa. This week you had who? Becky Lynch on Raw, on SmackDown. Well, she's on Raw, and then that's going to continue. So being signed to either brand doesn't matter. I can see Punk being on SmackDown this week, this Friday. That wouldn't shock me. So,
well,
what I'm saying, like, where's the attention for Knight now? Do you think he needs to worry about that?
As I said, he's still getting people. If they have CM Punk appear on how they couldn't gel together in promos and maybe in a future match at some point.
So you want to lower CM Punk to being in a match with a promo LA Knight? Ugh.
I'd like to see
that's lowering the guy, the star of the other company, who was treated as a star, who's treated if he was God himself. They jumped through hoops. They gave him his own show. 2 world title reigns. They bent over backwards for him, and anything Punk wanted, he got. So he was there. You could say Sting and Flair are bigger stars, which they are, Hall of Famers. But have they bent over backwards with Sting and Flair like they have with Punk? No. So AEW, Punk's their biggest star. So their biggest star has come to WWE, and he's going to be lower to LA Knight. Ugh. Who's LA Knight's beaten nobody. He's beaten The Miz. Who, okay, The Miz is relevant again, but ugh, no. Oh, yeah. You came back in and then went again.
I'm still here. I'm just listening to what you were saying.
See, I think Knight's just gonna be there, and that's it, really. So let's get into Orton. So, looked in great shape, but do you think that Punk's return did indeed overshadow Orton's return?
It did a little bit now because it was in his hometown, but the way it looked for Punk will more likely when he gets back, he'll be the face, and there has been talk of Randy Orton going heel on his return, which I think works better for him because he's definitely one of the best heels out there because he can play a real sicko. And I'd say when he turns heel, we obviously know his first target will be Jey Uso and then Cody.
Would you not do Orton Reigns at the Rumble? No?
No. I think Randy should go heel, face, work with Jey for a bit, and then work with Cody at the Rumble instead of giving Cody the Rumble match.
Yeah, we're not that far. Yeah, okay, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, we're a good couple of months away.
Yeah, he'll Cody back in there, and then get him into Chamber then to get him back to Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yeah, okay. Orton looked in incredible shape, And I didn't think he was coming back. I thought he was actually done. He had back problems, so I thought he was done, never to come back. The time off was obviously done him really good, but it was like, okay, cool, he's back. Let's move on. So I would have had him Punk come Chicago, Raw being Chicago. They do exactly what they did at Survivor Series. Cody team wins. Rollins comes out and says, "I beaten everybody. I've beaten Balor, Nakamura, Drew. I won War Games. I've survived War Games." And he makes one little CM Punk reference. "I'm literally the best in the world," and that's where you bring him back. So then it doesn't overshadow Orton, and Punk then would bring in the ratings. He's going to bring in the ratings anyway. But a huge return for Punk on Raw. So I think that's how I would have done it, because I think, like Orton's back, cool, let's move on.
Yeah,
so would you have
that is a good one, yeah, because then you wouldn't overshadow Randy Orton, and then you could have something for like the Punk thing. Like, this is the thing, I would have probably had Punk return the Raw after WrestleMania to get people talking, because the Raw after this year's WrestleMania, as we know, was dog crap. So you could make up to fans by giving them a better show and having CM Punk come back on that 10 years after he left, and then you've got a winner there, and you've got a fresh start to the new season after WrestleMania.
True. Well, hopefully the Raw after Mania next year will be a whole lot better, because this year it was run by Vince, and you're all right. What did we have? Did Riddle return? I think he returned. I think I had a Riddle return and Lesnar turning heel, and that was it. Crap for it.
Yeah, Riddle just returned. The only thing that was made, the only thing that you could talk about after was the whole thing with Brock and Cody.
Well, just maybe that was the point. But for a Raw for Mania, yes, it was totally crap, yes. But also, hopefully now Triple H is running things, and Raw has improved.
Well, yes, he is running things. But like, he is running things now, so like signing CM Punk is a definite sign that he is running things, because you wouldn't have seen Vince sign him back, because if that doesn't make people believe he is running things, what does?
Would Vince not overlook any issues he had with Punk in the past to think this is money here? Would he not do that?
I think he wouldn't overlook it now. Like, I don't think he'd take the risk with him. He's never liked him, so.
True, yeah.
He didn't know he's coming back. He didn't know that Triple H and Nick Khan were going to sign him back either.
I don't think Triple H and Nick Khan knew either. Like I said earlier, it was very much a last minute thing. It was last Monday. That's when the Punk agreed. So all these coincidences, all these Nakamura doing the GTS and all the little things said on commentary, and the thing that Rollins said, and all of this was apparently it's going to be just a coincidence, because apparently Punk was going to TNA. So
yes, they made him an offer and he turned it down.
Yeah,
but like, it was the right
just imagine that.
I mean, like, CM Punk, as you know, he wants his voice heard, and there's no bigger place to hear your voice than the WWE.
That would have been huge for TNA, and TNA Impact, we were going back to being called TNA. Is it 22 years they've been around next year?
Yes, it is. Like, 22 years, and they're now back to being TNA.
And people have always said they're going to die, they can't survive. They lasted 22 years. So, and he just did a tour here last month. I would have gone, but it was in Coventry, so miles and miles and miles away. But Punk would be a huge name for them, a huge signing. They could have done a showing or a pay-per-view in Chicago, and he comes out there. But yeah, obviously bigger WWE, the bigger stage. So
Actually, speaking of Punk and TNA, you know who is actually on TNA and is friends with Punk?
Colt Cabana?
No, Ace Steel.
Oh, okay. Well, have they signed him back?
They signed him back. Should WWE sign Ace Steel, or is he too much of a risk there? I mean, he's a bit of a fighter as well.
Didn't he bite somebody? But again, these issues with Punk, the fights with the Omega, Jungle what does Jim Cornette call him? Something horrible, like Jungle Jack or something. It's not Jungle Jack, but it's something funny. I forgot. Anyway, but Jack Perry, Omega, Young Bucks. Whose problem was that? Was that 100% Punk? Was it Omega and the Young Bucks? Was it a bit of both?
I'd say it was a bit of both. The Young Bucks had their strength to get him out there. They had a lot of sway, and Tony Khan took favor with them than CM Punk. With Jack Perry, he seems to have a thing with Jack Perry, but maybe he should have got rid of Jack Perry because I mean, Punk was definitely his weapon to move the ratings for AEW and take it to a bigger stage, like he did with All In, and he just kicked it to the curb.
I don't think CM Punk is going to ever. Let's say he was still going to be there, still there. I don't think he's taking AEW to WWE's heights, but it's a big name for them. He was treated as if he was God himself. Which, so that's another thing. Do you think Tony Khan is now absolutely kicking himself? He didn't resolve issues. He didn't try and work something out with Punk.
He's actually kept the whole thing very lowbrow. Like, he was asked about the situation and he just said, I'm not allowed to talk about that. When he could have said, I wish him well. My focus is now AEW. We move on. That's it. Like, because he now has got he got MJF to resign. He got the Elite to resign. He signed Jay White. He signed Will Ospreay, who are big stars around the world and in Japan. They were people that Triple H wanted, and he couldn't get them.
But in real life, behind the scenes of all that, do you think, in Tony Khan's mind, you think he's thinking, oh my God, I've just lost my biggest star ever?
He probably is going to be kicking himself there. Yeah, like he's a young promoter. Like, he's not going to be well experienced. Like, he didn't have, unlike Triple H, he didn't have a teacher like Vince. So he is going to be kicking himself there. So like it could. Look, he needs to just pick himself back, dust himself off, and try to find someone else to make a top star.
And quickly going back to Will Ospreay and Jay White, I wouldn't call those big stars in wrestling, yes, but if you went out in the streets and said, name me a wrestler, no one's going to say Will Ospreay and Jay White, are they? So they're not really big names.
They are big names in Japan and on the international market, but if you got them on WWE, then people will start to know more about them. And unfortunately, Triple H wasn't able to sign them because he couldn't sign Jay White at the time because there was a signing freeze during the merger. And the whole thing with Will Ospreay was that Ospreay had built a strong relationship with Tony Khan, so he was able to convince him. Plus, Ospreay was able to go back between England and America now and do other dates with AEW. And plus, AEW let him honor his contract with New Japan.
But what I'm saying is, if you went out and said to anybody, a random person, everyone knows what wrestling is. Everybody, the whole world knows what WWE is. They've seen it or heard of it at some point in their lives. But I'm saying some random person that just knows what it is, and that's it. If you said, name me a wrestler, they're not going to go, oh yeah, Will Ospreay. They're going to say Rock, Cena, Austin, Taker, probably Orton, Reigns, maybe Orton, maybe Punk, etc., etc. They're not going to say, oh yeah, Jay White. So he's a big name in terms of wrestling, I suppose. He's not going to be moving.
He's an OTT a few times.
That's cool. Jay White been to OTT. That's cool, but he's not going to be bringing in millions of fans and moving the needle as Reigns has done. So
no, I'm talking about Will Ospreay.
Oh, okay, right. Will Ospreay the same. He's not moving the needle either.
If Will Ospreay had signed with WWE, he would have been the face of NXT Europe.
Yeah, because I thought Europe knows who he is. But NXT is watched by how many casual fans are watching NXT? Probably not many, unfortunately. I think NXT's definitely the solid second brand, SmackDown, NXT, Raw. But it is kind of just your hardcore wrestling fan base, the diehard fan base, week in, week out, of watching that product. Cena, Taker, Cody, Heyman, probably nearly gone to 1 million. But outside of wrestling, again, who knows who So, outside of wrestling, who's heard of NXT, I suppose?
I suppose if you think of someone out of NXT, you'd probably say Braun Breaker.
I mean, like, again, wrestling fans know what NXT is, and I suppose NXT Europe's probably never happening then, is it? Because it was last year, I want to say last September, NXT UK ended, and then I think the promise was NXT Europe, and so what do you think that's going to happen one day or not?
I hope it happens next year, because I think it affected a few things. So Triple H did admit the Endeavor deal did delay, and it will be there. But like, there still is a strong NXT. The NXT champion is a Russian, and the NXT women's champion is an Irish woman.
Which is cool, which is great. Lyra's done very well for herself. Hopefully this is, the segue into NXT Europe being a thing. Because a lot of international and UK talent are getting pushed. Blair Davenport's in Survivor. Noam Dar is doing very well for himself. Gallus, I suppose. Lyra. Pretty deadly on the main roster. Brawling Brutes on the main roster. So very UK talent, international talent is definitely out there.
And look, talented both the War Games matches and others. Like you, Continental title match, you had two Irish men in the main, and you had an Irish woman in the opening match.
And you had international in every single match. You had Rhea in the women's match. You had Santos and Dragon Lee, Mexican. Gunther, Russia. Yeah. It's not from Russia, is he? From where is Gunther from? Austria. He's Austrian. Women's War Games, Ireland, and then the rest. Ireland and Japan. And then men's War Games, Ireland. Is that it?
Two Irish.
Ireland, that's what I said. Is that it?
Yeah,
the rest are all American.
Yeah.
Canadian with that Sami Zayn. Scotland with Drew. So
that's
Priest is Puerto Rican.
And just another thing to go back of the Irish, you had Finn Balor. He was the teacher for JD McDonough.
So international talent, very much a thing, and NXT proving they are the future. So we'll get to more thoughts in a second, but I'm going to just play a couple more videos here, and then we'll discuss the Rumble, my thoughts on who should win, and more. So I'll play this first. So.
Welcome to my store on Pro Wrestling Tees. Check out my beautiful dog logo on this black t-shirt, or how about this waffle on this gold nice t-shirt we have here. And here are a few other designs. We got some on white, some on sand, two-sided shirts. Don't forget to search Billy Ray Dog on Pro Wrestling Tees. Billy Ray Dog on Pro Wrestling Tees. With that on Pro Wrestling Tees, more shirts are always coming.
And he's right, Pro Wrestling Tees, Billy Ray Dog, come by one of his t-shirts, and this is a guy that is a referee and trainee wrestler in Booker T's company, Reality of Wrestling. So, Billy Ray Dog, Pro Wrestling Tees, and on... let me take that off. And on day 1,184, you most certainly. That is right. I did play the wrong video first. Technology these days. But GWO, Gold World Order for Life. Have got 3 people watching, so get your comments in, your thoughts about CM Punk's return. What does this mean? Are you glad he's back? So, yeah, we'll discuss the Rumble now. We've got a comment, as I just said it. That might be Justin, it might be somebody else. Dabba Kato is a Polish wrestler, is he? I didn't know that.
Remember Dabba Kato?
What? What? Go on. And YouTube account. Wait! How immature. I didn't know Dabba Kato was Polish, but okay. Well, there you go. I've learned something new there. So Gunther, should Gunther win the Rumble? That would be cool. He wins the Rumble, goes on to beat Rollins, becomes world champion. All that would be cool. Deserves it. But it's very much like, cool. Let's move on. He's not making world news. Well, he is and he isn't, I suppose. He's international. But Gunther wins the Rumble, wins the world title. Cool. Punk winning the Rumble and then going on to win the world title is much bigger news. And the match has wrote itself, really. Now, rumours are, I don't know how. There's no real evidence to back this up, and this is just some Reddit user. But apparently, Punk Rollins is heading at the Rumble. If so, it's not winning the Rumble. Cody, I think the fans will turn. So does that mean The Rock wins the Rumble? I don't think that's happening. I think Punk Rollins is happening at Mania, and Punk is winning the Rumble. What do you think, Ian?
I could pull the trigger on the Rumble. They want to have the match sooner rather than later, instead of waiting a few months, because fans start to lose their patience right away. So the Rumble match to start the new year off. If you have it at WrestleMania, then yeah, it should main event night 1. If Gunther wins the Rumble as well, it'll help your Germany.
Yeah, true. So if Punk Rollins does happen at the Rumble, who's winning the Rumble? So you do Punk Gunther?
No, you've got to do Gunther. No, but here's the thing: should Punk win the world title on his way back after just coming back? That's the thing. Like, I mean, we saw this year, Cody came back after a long injury. They didn't put the belt on him, and like people obviously copped it because he was coming back after being with the rival company, and he should work his way to earn it. And he has gone up and earned
Punk. Cody's level below Punk. Punk was a champion for 434 days and world champion twice in AEW. So, and Cody didn't bring in 87 million views. So
But let's look at it this way. He went out to make a name for himself on the AEW with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and that got the world talking. When Punk came into AEW, Cody left and got a bigger spot in WWE. He missed. He came back and won the Royal Rumble. He got the main event at night. Something CM Punk has yet to do for a champion that's had one of the longest title reigns. Yes, he lost the main event, but he'll still say in his record books, Cody main event WrestleMania 1, CM Punk WrestleMania main events 0.
True, yeah.
And since then, Cody has worked his way up the ranks, beating Brock Lesnar, winning at War Games. So he's definitely ready now for the big spot come next year. More likely, him and Roman will main event night 2. Now, Seth Rollins and CM Punk main event night 1, because there's 3 factors here, because the 3 matches I can see happening next year at WrestleMania are Cody versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk for at WrestleMania, and Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill for the SmackDown.
I think Jade wins the Rumble. and goes after Rhea, I think.
Yeah, no, I think she's going to go after Charlotte.
You want to make
Like,
Charlotte the star. Charlotte Rhea's not been pinned since May of last year, so way over a year. April will make it nearly 2 years. I think she's going after Rhea. You want to make Rhea into a big star? There's no bigger name right now than Rhea.
Yeah, but Rhea is the top star for women at the moment. But if you who has won more world titles than Rhea, WrestleMania women's title matches than Rhea, and that's Charlotte.
But that's putting the title back onto Charlotte. Ugh.
Yeah, but the top draws at I mean, you are kind of pining for Rhea and Charlotte.
You cut out there, but I think if I'm booking it, Jay wins the Rumble and goes after Rhea. That's what I think. That's what you do.
Oh.
Women's title. Do you not have Io keep it until all the way to men? You do Bayley, Io. I won't be opposed to that.
It wouldn't be. I think that match could still happen, but our title as well. But the other thing as well with Jade and Charlotte, this is like if you have 3 people or 2 out of 3 beat 3 of WWE, 2 out of 3 out of WWE's top, or more people in from AEW to WWE they want. Like when Punk return happened, we saw Andrade post a picture with CM Punk. That's kind of teasing an idea that he wants to go back to WWE. We've seen what AEW is, what WWE month or so since he's debuted with Lexis King, and he's a bigger name Pillman Jr. as the Varsity Blondes. So if you put the matches, if they decide to go with Punk and Rollins at WrestleMania, you lure more AEW talent that aren't getting enough attention into WWE. If you book CM Punk and Seth Rollins for the Royal Rumble, then yes, give the Royal Rumble match to Gunther. You saw what he did this year at the Rumble. He is big for the Royal Rumble. The Royal things about the Royal Rumble, the first few Royal Rumble wins. So yes, Gunther should get the Royal if CM Punk is not in it.
So I mean, Punk loses at the Rumble. So Punk's going back to lose to Rollins. I won't do that either. This is a huge thing in coming back, and he's going to lose at one of the big pay-per-views before Mania. Again, that is just some Reddit user saying that's happening. I don't think there's any real evidence.
Okay.
Dave Meltzer or Sean Ross hasn't said it. It's just something on Facebook saying this is the main event of Mania, the Rumble, and we know, of course they do. But if that really well could be the match at the Rumble, but that means Punk is losing if they're doing Rollins Gunther at Mania, and if not, Punk's winning. Do you do Punk Gunther? That means Gunther's losing.
I don't think you should do Punk Gunther. Maybe do something like Punk or Drew, because after the walkout we saw at Survivor Series, maybe you could have a frustrated Drew take on a fresh face CM Punk. Or there is another outside factor. If you do set Rollins versus CM Punk at WrestleMania, it's like as we saw this year at WrestleMania, we saw Cody coming out from Reigns. If you don't want CM Punk, say both, like you still Damian Priest cash in during the match.
We'll get to the Priest thing in a minute. And I'll give a bit of promotion here. PMP, Pancakes to POWERSLAMS, what the host of that said. He came up with, I think, a good idea, but it kind of ends Reigns' style reign if you do it that way. And that was to have The Rock win at Mania on Raw the night after. He then says to Reigns, right, I beat you, I want to do it again, I want to prove who the real head of the table is. Reigns spears The Rock and Priest cashes in on The Rock. You want to talk about making Priest? What bigger name than The Rock? So you could do that, but that ends Reigns' streak. The whole idea is if you don't do Reigns Cody, that's truly Reigns is going to win. That's the whole idea. But then that ends Reigns' title reign. But then The Rock did say he wanted something bigger to happen, so maybe that's what it is. But I just can't see that happening. What do you think?
No, definitely not. That's all I'll just say there. No.
Do you not think Priest beating The Rock makes Priest?
I don't think it's going to happen either way, because I don't think Triple H is going to get The Rock to wrestle at WrestleMania.
True. And if at this point, I think it is Reigns Cody. And okay, Cody's been built properly this time. When he's not doing what you want to talk about, he's actually been built pretty well. So if that's a match, that's a match. If The Rock does come back, he's going to, let's say he wins the Rumble, then it's super obvious that it's Rock Reigns and Rollins Cody, Rollins Punk. So if that is the case and it is super obvious, do you think it's bad to be super obvious or not?
Well, first, I don't think you'd ever sing Cody's praises.
He's getting better. He's still a little bit boring, and if that's a match, that's a match. But
look,
if The Rock does show up at the Rumble, yeah, if The Rock does show up at the Rumble, wins the Rumble, never say never. I didn't think Punk was coming back, so The Rock coming back and winning the Rumble isn't fantasy land. And it's in Tampa, and The Rock win the Rumble. You want to talk about world news? Who's bigger than The Rock? But if The Rock comes back, wins the Rumble, if Rock reigns at the Mania, Rollins Punk at Mania, do you think it's bad to go a super obvious way?
Then Reigns would have to retain, and we'd add another year of Reigns. What do you do?
But you think that's after Mania? You think it's super obvious to be that's going to be the two Mania matches, and the fans will know that's what the two Mania matches are going to be? Do you think that's a good way to go?
Sorry, say that again?
If Rock comes back, wins a Rumble, or Reigns beats whoever, and then The Rock comes out, either way, Rock's at the Rumble. Whatever he does, however he shows up in whatever way, and it's clear that it's Rock Reigns, Punk Cody, Punk Rollins at Mania, and that's the two matches it's going to be. Do you think that's a bad way to go? That it's that obvious?
It is a bad way in general if you're having two matches where you have the two champions retain, and like be about making new stars like Cody Rhodes, making new people carry like a Cody Rhodes, like Seth Rollins retain. You could give CM Punk back, and he can carry the company for a couple of months until, say, he gets to Berlin, and then Gunter probably takes the title off him in Berlin.
I cut out there. Sorry about that. I don't know if well, yeah, go on.
Say if we get Seth Rollins versus CM Punk night one, CM Punk would probably win. Say CM Punk wins, and then, or if Rollins wins, they'll have to carry the title till the summer until they get to Gunter at Bash at Berlin, or unless Damian Priest cashes in during that time as well. But then if you get Rock versus Reigns, as I brought this up before, Reigns could more likely, you're not going to have a timer beat Roman. Then nothing happens. And what do you do with Cody then?
But then you not have Reigns beats The Rock, wins this fourth Mania main event, something we're never going to see ever again, surpasses Hogan, and then Cody beats him, a much bigger win for Cody. And on the Priest thing, he's not cashing in on Reigns. If Punk does win, he's not cashing in on Punk, so he's not cashing in on Rollins. So does Cody then beat the Reigns and Priest cashes in? Ugh. What do you think?
Priest should stay on Raw, and keep the focus on Cody and Reigns going into WrestleMania. Priest should just cash in on Rollins.
if Punk beats Rollins, that's not happening.
No, maybe not. Maybe like with Punk, like we did with Cody, where Cody did.
I didn't catch a word of that. Again, you cut out. What I'm saying is after Mania, so Cody wins and Punk wins. Who's Priest cashing in on unless it's a failed cash in? What do you think?
I think say if Punk doesn't win it in 2015, go out and earn it, and what we've been seeing Cody Rhodes do, work.
You could do that. You could have then Punk's see who's a heel here. If Punk got a heel, I think he'd be cheered no matter what.
Ooh.
So yeah, see, I think we're going to see Rollins turn here. I reckon we're going to see Rollins turn because Punk's gonna be cheered no matter what. Punk could come out and take a dump in the ring and get his dick out on TV and still be cheered and say, "Oh, see you, Punk's back." So I think we're seeing Rollins turn here because what else do you do?
I say Rollins will be face for a while, and say if CM Punk wins, and then Seth Rollins has to go away for a while to do something about his back, maybe he could come back as heel. But at the moment, he's been really good in this face run. And say what happens if he does turn heel? Do people still chant his music, or does he have to change it then? Because I don't really want Rollins to change his music.
He's back. That's apparently 100% all kayfabe because Paul's for PMP has back problems, and I've said if it was real, could he wrestle? He said most probably not at all. Not without surgery, anyway. The fans started chanting when Rollins was healed, and he's not as over as people might think he is because apparently quite a lot of people turn off when Rollins is doing his thing because it's to cater to that audience there in the crowd. If you're watching at home, you're just watching a guy dance. So I think Rollins, unfortunately, drives people away when he's doing his dancing stick. So apparently Rollins isn't that, isn't he? Doesn't he drive away fans anyway? I think I read something that he's not he's one of the. He doesn't draw money as champion, kind of thing.
I think he draws some money anyway. I think he's been one that. If you've looked what he's done this year, he took a title that everyone called second. Third, he was voted #1 for PWI for work, so he's doing some good for it.
The title is secondary. I agree. Yes, he's made it relevant. Again, it's totally secondary to Reigns' title. Being voted in a magazine, what does that mean? He's voted by marks, isn't it? So, isn't it like Dave Meltzer and Brian Elver and all of they're biased in what they do.
They'd more likely pick someone from AEW than WWE. I mean, the last three, but the interesting thing with Rollins' victory for being #1 again in that, the other two members of the Shield are in the top 3.
So I'll get to my final thought in a second, but also coming up next year in about 4 weeks, is it? 4 or 5 weeks till January 3rd, 2024. So here is one little sneak peek, and then we'll get into our final thoughts here. That is right, the Rainy Rock Podcast, January 3rd, 2024. So my final thoughts here are, if Punk does win the Rumble, so you could have the beef with Rollins issue, if it's real or not. The issues with Rollins, and Rollins has said about him in the past, but so has Reigns, and Paul Heyman comes into the equation here. So if Punk does win the Rumble, I'd have Punk on Raw and SmackDown for a good month, really teasing it, who he's going after. See, just think if it is Punk Reigns, I don't think it's going to be, but everyone's saying, oh, it's Rock Reigns or Reigns Cody. They could easily do Gunther Rollins and Punk Reigns. What do you think?
Oh, if you don't do Punk versus Reigns this year, and you don't do Rock versus Reigns altogether, you could do Punk versus Reigns at WrestleMania 41, and maybe it could be the way to end the relationship between Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman comes back to CM Punk.
Because now Akira Tozawa could beat Reigns, and some portion of fans will be happy. But if you want Punk to be the star and fans to even love him even more than they do already, he ends a streak that some people despise and hate that Reigns have been champion this long, and he cheats. And Punk ends a 3.5-year title reign. I wouldn't be too opposed with that, I don't think.
Not many people would be opposed. There are some people that do want to see Punk versus Reigns for the title. But then again, like, is it kind of a bit hypocritical? They wouldn't give Cody Rhodes the and you're talking about a guy who left WWE 10 years ago, spent most of the first few years, he spent most of the first few years bashing the company. He then went to the rival company to try and see if he could carry them into the limelight. He didn't because the boss couldn't handle him. And now he's back in WWE, and everyone thinks everything should be handed to him on a silver platter when he should really have to earn it for a lot of people who stayed with WWE and really did their part in carrying the company, like a Seth Rollins, like a Roman Reigns, who's now a part-timer now, and like what Cody is doing now. He's helping carry the company as well and is on his way back. He should have got this year.
I won't call WWE's rival company, but it is what it is. That's another argument, another conversation for another day. The absolute insane marks out there will say better than WWE, and I've actually seen some insane marks saying, well, you thank your WWE fans would be thanking Tony Khan because Tony Khan brought Punk back to wrestling. So if it hadn't been for Tony Khan, Punk would be back in WWE, which is maybe true, but and then Punk, you see, Cody's not Punk. Cody's not the name that Punk is. And I just think that, fans love the Punk's back already. To make them love him even more, does he not end that streak that people... Like I've said, Akira Tozawa could end him. A portion of fans would be like, oh, yes, it's over, hooray. But Punk Reigns, I'm like, then you could do when he beats Reigns.
Oh, I suppose that would have to be the way it goes. But then what do you do for Cody then? I mean, this whole year...
Cena, I wouldn't be opposing to facing Cena, and that's Cena's last match, and beating Cena... Beating Cena's still a big win. Cena's a mega movie star now, and first Power Hall of Famer, 16-time world champion, all of that. So beating Cena's still big, but on the other hand, not so much, because the last time he won, as he said, was 2018. So it is big, but it isn't. But Cody beating Cena at Mania would be.
It's big enough, but we've seen after this year's WrestleMania, the focus has been on Cody Rhodes clawing his way back to get to Roman Reigns. And now you're going to give it to someone who disappeared for 10 years. I mean, that's not really fair. I mean, Cody has kind of done his part, like, to get himself back there, and he's gotten fit, and he is now in a top position within WWE. So they just can't take it away like that for the sake of someone else. I mean, this is the thing that Hunter has to learn in creative. He can't take away in favor for certain people, like the way like popularity of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan in 2013 going into 2014. And they were moved aside for someone like Batista. And we saw all the damage that was done from that. And we've seen in the past what all the legends that came back, like a Brock Lesnar, like a Goldberg, and they were taking away spots from people that Triple H was trying to develop in NXT to carry the company. But Vince had his own favorite in favor of people like Roman or Brock Lesnar, to even bring back someone like Goldberg, who wasn't that great on his return.
True, yeah. Okay, then do Reigns, Cody. What do you do with seeing Reigns, Cody, Punk, Rollins, Lesnar, Gunther? I won't be opposed to that. Gunther beating Lesnar would be big. But then what do you do with Cena?
Well, I'd say if he does come back, person to have the match with would be Randy Orton, because you have the history there.
Yeah, true. Yeah. One last time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one last time. Like, and you have the history there. I mean, so let it end with that old rivalry, unless you give him someone else that. But the longest rivalry, like at the time, Cena and Randy Orton were supposed to be the PG era, Ruthless Aggression era's answer to Rock and Stone Cold under Vince. So it'd be perfect. Like, it was the way, like, in 2003 when Rock gave Austin his last match.
Well, last match then.
The last match before the match with Kevin Owens. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so you could have Orton turn heel. I wouldn't do Orton Cody. So Cody, what you do with Cody if that's not the match, he's not going to win the Rumble, and if he did, I think the fans would. That would be it. The fans would turn like Cody again. So I think they would turn. So do you do Cody Orton at Rumble, and then Orton's heel and Cena's not? Not that Cena's ever going to go heel, and then that's a match at Mania. So I won't be opposed to that either.
Or not the Rumble in a match, and then you chamber, kind of like be Randy for Cody in the chamber, make him go through people in the chamber like a Randy Orton, or maybe even a Bobby Lashley for heel wise, and like an LA Knight and a Kevin Owens.
Unless you do Cody being in the Rumble, and he comes like Shawn Michaels did back in 2008-9, whatever it was, when he wanted to face Taker. And Cody's in the Rumble and he just gets eliminated. He's like, he's not going to win it, but maybe he's a final four, gets eliminated. Then he's at Chamber, and that's where he finally wins, and he claws his way to that title. But I think in beating Orton would be a big win for him at the Rumble. So I wouldn't be opposed to that either. And then, like you said, Cena Orton at Mania.
Yeah, that's where it has to end. Now, here's a question now. With all these returns that we've seen this week, and like all the returns we've seen since Triple H has taken over creative, who do you think is next to return?
The Rock.
Well, we've already had The Rock. I mean, we've had The Rock come back, but who do you think will come back to wrestle under the Triple H reign?
AJ Lee in the Women's Rumble, maybe.
Two people I have in mind for the men side, because they've been talking about this, and I know he's teased it, but hopefully by next year after WrestleMania we see Matt Cardona come back. Maybe not under Cardona he wants to be. It's like, I suppose, like the obvious person people want earlier on since Punk's return would have to be Sasha Banks, because now she's been teasing a return to the Royal Rumble, a return to WWE. Like we saw this year, she beat Kairi Sane for the New Japan, for the IGWP Women's title. Kairi's now back over in WWE. We know that more likely Bayley is going to get the boot out of Damage Control in favor of Asuka, Io, and Kairi. So Sasha Banks comes back, and we see the Boston Hug Connection reunite to take on Asuka and Kairi, or Kairi and Io. So that could be something you could see at WrestleMania. Maybe Sasha comes back for that tag match of Boston Hug Connection reunion at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, maybe. And very quickly on Sasha Bayley being thrown out to Damage Control got their the highest rated segments on SmackDown for the past couple of weeks. So I thought they were going to win it Survivor Series for that reason. I said, why would you split them up when they're a good heel dominant faction? But yeah, it's not going to shock me if she gets thrown out. Yeah, and you have Sasha return. Yeah, all that could happen.
We have with Io to do as well. Like, you have a Boston Hug Connection reunion, but you also, when Dakota do you finally get that 4 horsemen? Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Becky team up to take on all of Damage Control in a few.
Yeah, sorry about this, but yeah, Wi-Fi is really breaking up, so I think we're gonna have to end it here.
No, let me say it again. I'll say it again. Say it again.
Okay, then.
I can say it again. Next year, if Sasha Banks returns, and we get a Boston Hug Connection reunion at WrestleMania or at a later stage, but then a few months after that, maybe at next year's Survivor Series, do you get at War Games all 4 members of Damage Control, Dakota, possibly Asuka, Kairi, and Io, taking on all 4 horsewomen, Becky, Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley?
I heard it that time. That was better. So yeah, that could happen. Yeah.
You finally get that horsewomen match, because we never got the 4 horsewomen of wrestling versus the 4 horsewomen of UFC.
Yeah, that was meant to happen, I think, wasn't it? Ronda, Shayna, Marina, and I don't know the 4th.
Marina Shafir,
Ronda, Shayna, and
Ronda Rousey, Shayna, Jessamine Duke. Now Ronda is competing on her own on the Indies. Hang on. Ronda's competing in the Indies. Yeah, I can hear you. Ronda's now kind of competing in the Indies in Ring of Honor. Marina Shafir is over in AEW because she's married to Roderick Strong, who's also over there. Jessamine Duke is MIA, and Shayna is in Raw. Yeah,
I don't know what Jessamine Duke is doing. I don't know if she's... Yeah, there doesn't seem to be doing anything. I've not heard anything about her. Well, I think we'll end it here because we're getting come to an hour and a half. I think if it lasted like half an hour more than I think I wanted it to, but fine. We were chatting, so that's cool. Thank you for joining me, Ian.
No problem. No.
I'll put you backstage for now. We can just chat for a couple more minutes if you want. If not, fine. So, apologies for the Wi-Fi if it was bad on your end. It is issues seem to be every single time with StreamYard, but coming up, so this Sunday, Journey 2 review of Top Rope Wrestling. Next week, deadline predictions on Watch Party. Journey 2 review of Future Shock. Check out that description because, like I said, PMP, Pancakes, and PowerSlams. Checking them out on YouTube. Sportskeeda, tell them, go and like them. Tell them I sent you. DOMCAST and In Time Wrestling podcast for your podcasts. eFeds, TWF Network, ASPW Production, and Red Duck Extreme Wrestling, Red Billy Red Duck F8. Certainly go and like and subscribe to him. And for promo-based eFeds, it is PPA Promo Performance Alliance. So again, quickly, this Sunday, Journey 2 and review of Top Rope Wrestling. Let's close a scene. Next week, deadline predictions, deadline watch party. And in fact, no, I've got another 2 shows next week. So BTW, Journey 2 review of. So BTW, Christmas Chaos, Journey 2 review of. And then the next day, Journey 2 review of Future Shock. And Grizzle New Veterans are going to be there. So that's cool. They're back. But for now, like and subscribe. Check out all my other videos, and it is Ricky Goldman